I tried eBay dropshipping in 2025. Not only does it still work, but take a look at this. These are actual numbers just from the past few days. These are actual sales, orders being fulfilled, and making some decent profits in real time. And some of these sales just came in within hours of listings, while others just happen very passively, while simply just sitting here and doing other things. The supplier that got me my first sale, you are never gonna guess who it was. So why did I decide to jump back into eBay dropshipping now? To be honest, this past year has been a complete roller coaster. I tried a few different e-commerce opportunities, and let's just say that many of them did not go according to plan. So I had to take a step back and reevaluate. And ultimately, I decided to go back to something that was very familiar. Alright, let's talk about what it actually took to restart eBay dropshipping in 2025, because it wasn't as simple as just listing a few products and waiting for the sales to simply roll in. First off, I had to start with a clean slate and a brand new approach, because let's be honest, dropshipping is not what it was a few years ago.
No! God, please, no! No!
All strategies don't work because they're simply either too outdated or they might be just too risky. So before listing a single product, I actually went ahead and did my homework. I went deep into researching what works right now, as well as seeing what other sellers are doing to stay ahead of the game. The first challenge, not only finding winning products that sell, but products that also meet eBay's current policies. Because let's be real now, eBay is a lot more stricter today than it used to be in the past. And if you don't play by the rules, you're gonna be out before you even start. Then came the supplier issue, because back in the day you can just grab a product from any supplier, throw it up on eBay, and it will actually sell. But today, not so much. You have to be strategic, you gotta get smarter, and find those products that are actually going to sell inside of your eBay dropshipping store. And trust me, this wasn't easy. I hit some roadblocks, I had some pricing issues, I had suppliers cancel some orders, I had some delay shipping problems with some suppliers. That's when I realized that this gig is not easy. You have to work through it and learn from these mistakes. But then after all of that trial and error, I finally got my first sale. And what surprised me the most, it wasn't from a supplier that I actually expected. In fact, the supplier that was able to get me my first sale is one that most people never actually consider. And I'll tell you exactly who it was and why it worked. But first, let's break down exactly what I did differently this time around. So there it was, my first sale. Now, getting your first sale is easy. Turning it into a system that makes money consistently, now that's interesting. You see, in 2025, it's not about just throwing random products up on eBay and hoping that it actually sells.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So I started to reverse engineer, looking at successful sellers, trends, what products are popular right now, and also what products are not overly saturated, until I actually found my sweet spot. The next crucial step was optimizing my listings the right way. eBay's algorithm works differently now, and it's all about visibility and trust. So I had to tweak everything: pricing, images, description and titles, and even how my store looked, which is the main reason why most dropshippers fail, because they just do this copy and paste approach, creating bad descriptions not optimized for eBay's algorithm, bad photographs and bad lighting that don't actually show the product in its best possible light, and worst of all, setting very unrealistic prices. I made sure to avoid all of that, and it worked. My listings started to get a lot more traction. I started to get a lot more views and watchers on my listings. I knew at that point it was just a matter of time before I would get my next sale. And sure enough, bam, another sale. But it wasn't all smooth sailing, and that's when I ran into my next challenge. And trust me, if you're thinking about starting eBay dropshipping in 2025, you need to hear this. So just when I thought I had finally cracked the eBay dropshipping code, eBay hit me with something that I wasn't expecting, which could have wiped everything that I've done so far in just a matter of days. If you have ever tried eBay dropshipping, then you know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. eBay doesn't play around when it comes to new sellers, and sure enough, a few sales into this, and I got hit with some selling restrictions. If you're not prepared for this can stop you completely in your tracks and stop you from growing your eBay dropshipping store. And the worst part is that I did nothing wrong. But instead of panicking, I actually took a step back and actually focused on a step-by-step approach on how to resolve this with eBay. The first thing that I did was reach out to eBay support and explain to them my situation and ask what information they would require from me in order to verify my store and provide any additional information that will help them make a decision in my particular situation. Now, in some cases, they may ask you where you're sourcing your products from. You don't have to go into any details. That should be sufficient unless they ask you for specifics such as name, address, and if you have invoices. If that is the case, that's something that we'll touch on a different video. But for now, if you have any questions about that, just leave them down in the comment section down below. So after we verify my name, my business, and other information that they asked me for during that conversation, I was able to get the green light and resume selling inside of my eBay account. All right, so at this point, I had to figure out how to get sales, how to survive eBay restrictions, but now the real test. How do we go from making just a couple dollars to making a couple hundred and even up to a couple $1,000s by drop shipping on eBay? What I had to do was find high in-demand products with low competition. And the easiest way to do that is with software because it saved me so much time. Instead of going to eBay and scraping through individual listings and sellers, I wanted to find a way where I could do this in bulk and find as many products as I can. And by no means are you obligated to use software. It's only going to expedite the process and save you a ton of time. But if you're on a budget, I understand you may not want to do this when you first start out, but definitely something to consider down the road. What really helped me to figure out this piece of the equation was figuring out a niche that I can focus on and just go down deep into the rabbit hole and come up with as many products as possible, look them up on Zik Analytics and see where the opportunities are to actually dropship those products on eBay. And if you want to take a glance at all the niches that I've already researched throughout these last weeks and months, then I highly recommend you sign up to my newsletter. You can find the link down below and I'll be more than happy to forward you an email with all the niches I've personally researched and some recommendations. Once I found my products and my niche, then I had to focus on optimizing my listings because like I said in the beginning, eBay is all about algorithm optimization. So you want to make sure you get your titles right, your descriptions, your images. So for all of that, I heavily rely on AI. And I was using ChatGPT by creating some prompts to help me optimize my titles, optimize my descriptions, and then optimizing my images. When it comes to images, I highly recommend using review images. If, for example, they happen to be available on your supplier website, it's gonna create a whole different dynamic for your product listing because if you are competing with some other sellers, having different pictures will definitely help you to stand out. Once you find the right product, have your listings optimized, and at this point, eBay works just like a search engine like Google or YouTube. It's gonna start recommending your listings ahead of your competitors and put you in a position to get more clicks, views, and potentially get a lot more checkouts on your products. So after implementing all of this, I've seen great progress inside of my eBay. Now my plan is to gradually scale this up. It is going to be a kind of a slow grind in the beginning, but once you get momentum going, it's going to become easier and easier. And as your listings start to rank higher and higher, sales will be a lot more consistent. And by that point, the sky is the limit. eBay dropshipping is not hard. You just have to keep evolving with the changing times because what worked 3 or 4 years ago doesn't necessarily work today. As long as you can get creative and take the time and invest in researching and finding out what sellers are selling and what products are doing well, you are going to be successful. It's all about putting in the time, having the dedication, the patience, and want to be successful with eBay dropshipping. I am in the middle of editing the video that you're watching right now, and I completely forgot to mention the secret supplier at the beginning of the video. So if you're still watching, thank you so much. Go check out Costco.com. It is a very underrated supplier. Go check them out right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe.